The team here at Fenetex is thrilled and honored to be named to the Inc. 5000 list of the 5,000 fastest growing privately held companies in the United States. It would not have been possible without this amazing team and our awesome dealers. Congratulations, everybody, and thank you so much. My name is Meredith Anzulis. I'm CEO of Fenetex. My responsibilities with the company are administrative. I handle all the finances, I support marketing, and keep on top of production.
My name's Michael Murray, and my main area of responsibility is developing the products and keeping after the vision for the company and where we're growing. We have complementary skill sets. So I'm very good at design and problem solving and thinking outside the box for solutions, and I spend a lot of time in the field to understand what dealers are needing so that we can develop the product to meet their needs, and then just in general looking to see where problems might exist with other products and where we can make improvements. And so I'm good at that, but I'm not good at dotting the I's and crossing the T's. And that's where Meredith is extremely good at dotting the I's and crossing the T's, so she's able to keep the business moving forward from the day-to-day operation standpoint. And in that regard, we're very reciprocal in how we work together.
I would agree with that. It's very much a balance in the way that we think. Michael's much more the big picture visionary guy, and I am much more the detail process person. So he sees where we're going, and it's my job to figure out how to get there. Our first products were in the market in 2007. Fenetex started out as Stormwatch. We were a company that we made removable hurricane protection products. And the more we produced, the more our clientele really liked our products and said, hey, why don't you guys make a retractable version of this? And so we gave it a try. Our first product was a shade screen, a retractable shade screen. And then we moved more into hurricane products, and now we do shade, insect, hurricane, clear vinyl for restaurants. And we try to listen closely to what the customers tell us because they're the ones who know their needs most often. So we use that as a guiding principle. And that's how Fenetex started. We started out making removables and then grew into the retractable business.
So the company's evolved and it's changed considerably, and the products have changed considerably, and we've really had to do that as we grow because the needs of what the market changed. So when we started the business doing the manually rolled up screens, a lot of people liked those. Then we moved into a period, this was in 2008 when we entered the market. By 2012, most of the market had changed. That was when the economy had fallen apart, and we had to rediscover what Fenetex was going to be. And that was really from two needs. We started both because we started moving into the retractable screens because people wanted a powered version of what we'd been selling them for years. And then the economics changed where that market that wanted that middle range product wasn't there anymore. And so it moved into a higher end product. And that's how we developed the retractable screens, was for pretty large houses that had pretty demanding set of needs for how the screens would perform. And that was a pretty difficult environment to work in because we had to build a product that was a very high quality product so that it would meet the needs of the customer. And so there was, at that time when we were doing this a decade ago, there really weren't the kinds of products in the market that could withstand, the kinds of conditions that a house on the beach may have, where they have strong trade winds coming all the time. And so we really had to create all of these things that would enable the screens to function in windier environments and for these larger and larger screens. And so the company's changed many times as a result to meet the needs of the customer.
Screens are an investment. When you invest in retractable screens for your home or your business, you want to get the benefit of that for a long time. You want to know that they're going to be there for you. So when we build our screens, we look at it that way. We want to know that if we put them on our house, they would continue to work for as long as they were expected to.
What we want is a product that doesn't have problems. And so to get there, you have to anticipate what the problems would be and then design ahead of those problems so that when it gets to the market, it actually works the way it's supposed to. I did grow up on a sailboat, and that does make you independent. But some of the things that I grew up with actually work their way into the products that we make today, because we essentially build a sail, and it's just a two-sided sail. And the original, oddly enough, when we first started making retractable screens, we actually used components from the sail making industry to, and then it's evolved from then to make them faster. But that was the original concept for how the retractable screen works. It basically is the mast and the mainsail track, the same thing you would see on a sailboat, and then it's motorized. I'd probably be guilty of obsessing about the details, and sometimes I'll spend a considerable amount of time on this tiny little thing that no one would notice, but I know it's there. And I know it has a function, and we want it to be right. And people will criticize, well, no one will ever notice that. And that's probably true, but I still notice it. Over time, we've really eliminated everything that was off the shelf so that we design and manufacture all the components. And what that does is lets us control the quality. It also lets us control the supply, so that we don't have issues with vendors out of this product. It'd be like if we're going to put the Fenetex name on something, we want to know that it's going to do what it's supposed to do. And the best way for us to do that was to design and manufacture the components that went into the system.
That's part of Michael's perfectionism. If he's using a component off the shelf that doesn't work exactly the way he envisions it to work in the product, he'll design his own. And then we'll get it made the way it needs to be made. And that's starts from the very smallest little part that caps a track all the way to the end delivery, where we were having trouble with shipping damage and we couldn't get product to certain places without it getting bounced around in a terminal by a carrier. So we bought a truck and we offer delivery service now, so it's really end-to-end service. And then we know that the product is being handled carefully, it's being delivered with care, and there's a lot less risk in that. So we bring things under our own control when we feel like the offerings outside of our control are not up to our standards.
But what the truck did for us that I liked the most is that it gave us the ability to make anybody a local dealer, more or less, because now we can just hand it off directly. And so it's our trucks, our employees, and they drive a route, and it basically is as if someone were standing in front of our factory, and we can just deliver that factory right to the person. And by having it all be within Fenetex, we can control the experience, which is what we want, so that the dealers have a great experience with Fenetex.
So the dealers that are on the route that order Fenetex screens get predictability in pricing. They know exactly how much they're going to pay for delivery. It's a set fee. They know when their stuff is coming because we have set routes, so they can plan for their orders to be delivered. And then once they know that, they can pass that information on to their clients so that their end users who are going to put these screens in their homes or their restaurants, their businesses, wherever they're being installed in the end, know when it's going to come and know that when it gets there, it's going to be undamaged. It's going to be right. So that's another benefit that came from introducing our delivery service.
And I think any business is probably the same. You've got the business, you've got the people in the business, you've got the customers that you serve, and then you're trying to mash it all together to make it work. And, for us, the group of people that we work with that we consider to be, the Fenetex team, is a great group of people.
The Fenetex team is obviously it's always in motion. We have some people who've been with us a very long time, and they bring with them experience, judgment, knowledge of the product, a long-standing understanding of our customers. And then we also have some newer people who bring in new perspective, new ideas, new ways of looking at things. And for us, having that balance of both allows us to really look from both angles and see where we've been, where we need to go, and kind of throw it all out there and pick the best of both, pick the best of each to come up with a solution that moves the company forward in a way that pays respect to our past as well. I worked for the Charleston River Dogs in South Carolina, which was owned by Mike Veck, who is he's part of a long line of marketing genius in baseball. And he really did teach me that fun is important. It's not just the product that you're offering, but the manner in which you create it, in an environment where people feel appreciated and free, as well as taking seriously the work. It really produces something that's far better than just going into work every day and doing the job. And I encourage our team to follow Fenetex on social media because they get to see all the pictures of the things that they produce every day. They get to see it out in the wild, in the real world, being used by real people. And otherwise, they don't get to see that. But that sense of accomplishment, when you see something that you've done, that you built on these machines behind me, out in the world being used by people, it really makes you feel like you've done something great that day. You can see the final result.
And so I get a kick, for instance, going to a restaurant that may have our screens on it, and sitting there and watching how it's changed the restaurant, and it's changed the experience and how they can use that outdoor space.
So our family does like to travel. We do like to have adventures. James, our son, is in particular adventurous. He would rather be anywhere but home. He loves going places, having new experiences. We like to camp in the mountains. We like to go hiking. We bring Eloise along with us, the dog. Many people know Eloise. She's kind of a figure on our social media, so she's a little bit of a celebrity/mascot for Fenetex as well. She comes to work. So if you visited us at the office, you've probably met Eloise. But we have family all over the country, so there's lots of places to go and people to visit, and that's just part of keeping our eyes open to new experiences and seeing things in the world. Traveling a lot also allows us to visit places where our screens are installed.
That's true.
So that's a fun thing when we get to go to restaurants in different cities and see how the screens are being used on those patios. I think it's really fun when we're out in the world and we see our screens. We go up to the mountains in North Carolina a lot. There's quite a number of restaurants around the Asheville area that have our screens, so it's always fun to see them in use. Whenever we're in Orlando, there are screens out at Disney Springs. A couple of restaurants have our screens there, so we always try to stop for lunch at one of those places.
Well, it's interesting. We can go just about anywhere in the country now, and just about any city we'll be traveling through, there'll be a couple of restaurants that'll have our screens. And so we'll always make a point to go there. And
I keep a mental list in my head, or a reference one that I can search by city. And we're going to be in Portland. We've got to go by Dos Alas. We've got to go check out Hanok. We've got to go see these restaurants that have our screens. It's a pretty fun sort of conclusion to the process of what we do is to see it out in the world being used.
if you buy a screen from us, then it's the last one you're going to need to buy. Now, over time, you may have to replace the screen because something may have happened to it that's not a warranty-covered item. But as far as the day-to-day things that you would expect from the screen, we know the customers want to press a button, the screens go up, press a button, the screens go down. And that's about all they want to think about for the screens. So we've ended up building a system that doesn't really need a lot of maintenance, doesn't need a lot of service, and it performs the way a customer would expect without surprises.
I would add to that it's just an absolute commitment of if you're getting something from Fenetex, you're getting the highest quality thing that's out there. It's why Michael spends so much time designing product. It's why he obsesses over every single detail. He wants to make sure, we all want to make sure that Fenetex is going to work for you. It's going to last. That each product has longevity as well as reliability. It's not going to rust out. It's not going to wear out. It's not to say there isn't wear and tear. Every product is going to have some wear and tear, but that it is designed to work over and over again. When you push that button, it's going to do what it's supposed to do.
So when I design these and I'm thinking about how we can make it, I'm always thinking about how can we make it the best it can be. And doing that because I wanted to see, I just don't like things that don't work well. I find that to be a pet peeve of mine. Things poorly designed and don't work, they're just annoying. And I don't want to create an annoying product that we put out in the market. So there's a lot that goes into it so that at the end of the day, it works and does what it's supposed to do. And it takes a lot of work to do that, but it's something that I'm driven to do. And it's just sort of like, if you're going to do something, do it well. And that's been the guiding philosophy for how we've developed the screens that we make and how we do it.
There's a favorite quote of mine. It's a John Wooden quote, and I'm a UCLA Bruin, so of course I've got a special place in my heart for Coach. But it says, if you don't have time to do it right the first time, when will you have time to do it again? And so that feels like a guiding principle in some ways, because we just want to get it right. We don't want to cause consternation or frustration for anyone using our products. We want it to be right when they go out to use it, and so many errors are preventable that if we just pay attention and do the thing right the first time, you get what you want. Absolutely growth. We're on such a fast growth trajectory. We've got new product lines coming out. We've got new dealers coming on board, new markets that we're reaching into. We're just have screens at the Jaguar Stadium. That's a new thing for us. There's all kinds of new ways that our products are being used, and it allows us to reach out to so many different people and environments that's kind of exciting to see where that's going to go.